So hello everyone, we are outside and I'm with my Etchr Slate bag. We're going to have a look at this today. It's a really exciting bag, it's got loads of functionality. It's also quite expensive and it's been something I've been meaning to show you for quite a while. Etchr have sent it to me, so thank you very much to Etchr for making this video possible. They also sent it to me several months ago. At the time I was very busy training for a marathon and then the weather was awful and then I had problems with the nerves in my neck. So now I'm here, finally, without the above. All good now and healthy, and thank you to everyone who sent kind messages. But yes, we are back and finally having a look at this exciting little bag. And it is exciting. There are loads of benefits to it. There are a couple of downsides to this bag and bags like it, aside from the cost. So watch this video to see basically what I think of it, how I use it, what I put in it, and yeah, what I think of it. We'll do some sketching along the way as well. Now, without further ado, let's actually just look at this. So I've got a little water can on the side, which I'll unpin, and then we can basically look at the construction. At the front, we've got a nice pocket here, nice carry handle, and a really good sort of sturdy shoulder strap as well. A number of clips which come in handy for different sort of sketching positions. This has a bit of Velcro, it's very well sort of stuck down bit of Velcro. And we've got a pocket inside where you can store all sorts. I've actually got a seat which expands. I'll show you that later. I've got a packet of postcards which I can sketch on, and I've got some loose sheets of rag paper. You can fit loads in there. And we have this pocket where if you want, you can remove the plate. And this plate is what keeps the whole satchel sort of sturdy on the tripod. If we just take it out, it's as simple as that to take out. And you can see the tripod fitting there. The bit we actually care about, the interesting bit I suppose, we have our interior, the sort of painty bit, for want of a better term. So in the two halves we have our painting, sketching, drawing area. It comes with a number of these Velcro attachments. So they've got Velcro on one side, reverse Velcro on the bit there, and then they've got these elastic. So you can stick down all sorts of things. And I'll show you some sketching later, where we use these in different ways. It's got this long bit of elastic. This comes in surprisingly handy for things like popping our sketchbook in. So we can pop the corners of the sketchbook like so. Then we can open the sketchbook out. Well, it'd be more sensible to pick up the Velcro, wouldn't it, rather than force it. Pull this down, and our sketchbook is pretty well stuck down. It's quite impressive actually. In a good position with everything out of the way and a nice clean area to sketch on. Next we have this other half. Now this other half has this mesh covering which does actually come almost all off. But this covers your sort of what I basically call the storage area, I guess. I think that's fair. And again, you've got these two Velcro-y things, which Velcro anywhere you want, so you could reconfigure this. And within that, you can pop your brushes, pens, pencils, and they slot in and out relatively easily. They've got different sizes. You've got really big ones, really small ones for all sorts of different things. And that's basically what it is. It's a quite sturdy, easy to carry bit of equipment with Velcro, which makes it reconfigurable, and it can store all sorts, and that's great. So how do we actually use it? So I think there are kind of three sensible ways of using it which suit me, at least. There's probably other sensible ways of using this bag which might suit other people, but for me there's three sensible ways. There is sitting down, which I'll show you first. That doesn't require a really technical, expensive bag like this. Doesn't mean this bag isn't good for it, but I'll show you why. Perhaps if that's how you like to sketch and paint, you could do with a lot less. There is standing, and there's two ways of standing. One with a tripod, which does make this bag very convenient. And I'll show you, that's probably my number one recommendation. And number two is standing without a tripod, where we're just standing and trying to sketch whilst holding and juggling everything. And again, this bag has some really key features which make that surprisingly possible. Beyond just drawing often will go out with just a notepad and a pen, and you can stand and hold those things. But if you want to paint standing up without a surface to pop all your stuff on, this is pretty good. So tune in to find out more. And with that, we will start with sitting. How does this bag actually function when we simply sit and sketch? I've shown you how I set out my sketchbook, and I have this on my lap, and I happen to be on my little foldable chair, or I'm on a bench like this, and that's great because suddenly the world is our oyster. We've got places to put our equipment. I've got my coffee over on the other side of the bench. For that, we don't really need a clever bit of equipment like this. Even in this situation, a little metal palette of watercolours like this is going to be a touch precarious. I mean, if I move, it's going to slide off. We do have these corner things, but it's not obvious how to attach those and actually have them safe or have it not slide around or not have these covered in paint by the end. Now, my solution has been to use these little edges, one crocodile clip. I'm actually very proud of myself for this. And all I do is, using the Velcro, I can clip my metal palette, and now it's not really going anywhere. It's going to wobble a little bit, but that's okay. And if I wanted, I could move this one over and just clip the other side. I've got a few crocodile clips. I've got another one on my sketchbook, for example. If I'm being honest, this is the weakness of all of these sketching solutions, and this is something you should think about. For all of these sketching solutions, finding a good way to store water. Now I have this, which is something I can carry around, I can clip onto the bag. My solution for this is put it on the floor or somewhere beside me. That's the number one option if that's practical. So that's great here, sat down. Number two, you can put a little magnet underneath one of these. So you literally pop a magnet in the Velcro, pop it down. You can get really strong magnets, and then that will magnetize down there. And that works okay. You can do the same actually for your metal palette if that's what you have. Number three, and we might have to see this one a little bit later as well, is using another clip. We bring it to the edge and we just clip it on. And that's okay, it wobbles around, but it's a solution for certain types of watercolour sketching. This is of course only a watercolour issue. If we are not painting, we're sketching, drawing, we don't need to worry about this, but it's a real thing to think about. There are other solutions other than having a little pot like this, but they all come with their own drawbacks, be that the amount of water, how easy it is to clip on, lots of different things. Well, let's have a look at how this functions when we're standing and using a tripod. And this is where this starts to excel. I'm going to show you in real time me clipping it onto my lightweight tripod, and it really doesn't take very long at all. A little bit fiddly, but it is what it is. Tripods are always a little bit fiddly. In a matter of seconds, I've got it attached and I can unzip it and just let the whole thing flop to one side. And we've already again looked at how to then set up the sketching area. Here you can also get an angle and fiddle around with your tripod until the angle is right. This is where having all that Velcro is great. This is also where having that mesh is great. Everything through this few seconds is staying put. And like that, we are ready in a matter of under a minute just to start sketching. You might also notice using a water brush. That's another water solution. So although I've got my little pot of water hanging off the bag, sometimes it's easier when you're just doing a quick work of art, quick sketch, quick watercolour, to just have your paints in that water brush format. Now I also thought it would be useful to show you the actual sketching process a little bit here, because you can see as I'm sketching, I'm not having to hold it down. I can do flicking and patting, I can use my pen and my water brush, and it's pretty stable. It's not 100% stable, but that tripod plate does make a real difference. You might have seen previous videos, I've actually used much cheaper bags than this, and I've added my own tripod plate to it. They're never this good, they're never this stable. And although they're much cheaper overall, this is why you're paying extra, so that you can do clever, fancy, fun things like this without the fuss or palaver, and with good results. And we're on finally to option 3, the other way of standing with this bag. Now although I say the tripod way is probably the biggest reason you might buy this bag, this is probably number 2, and actually this is probably my favourite way of sketching with this bag, because realistically, how often do I carry around a tripod? not very often, but this bag is really easy to carry, and even getting tangled up in the straps and confusing myself a little bit. In a matter of seconds, we have clipped it together, and there's this secret little clip which just holds the bag, prevents it from flopping open, and now in that time I can sketch. So that's pretty cool. And then showing you it in practice. Again, this is never going to be absolutely perfect. We are standing up and sketching. We're still going to make some compromises. The processes are not going to be the same as in the studio. But this is a really secure, you can see, comfortable way to sketch and paint. I am using the water brush and I'm standing next to a wall. So realistically, what would I do here if I was using a pot of water? I would put the pot of water on the wall. I wouldn't clip it to the bag. That is your compromise. That is your sort of next best solution. But you can also see that I can tap and flick. You can see that my watercolors are stable. You can see the bag is supporting itself mostly around my shoulders. And you can see I look pretty happy with what's going on. And with all of that, of course, I forgot to film an outro, so here you go. My little summary is this is a great bag. It is expensive, and it has some great selling points. The ability to stand and sketch quickly, to have that stable surface, and those Velcro reorganizable bits are brilliant, really well thought out. If you're going to sit and sketch, be at a table and sketch, then save yourself some money and think of a different solution. If you want a perfect sketching or painting process, then buy a £400 tripod with a huge sketching area, the ability to lay out all of your materials and really perfect things. But beware that with that, you're not going to be getting in and out and sketching quickly and agilely. So this fits a narrow niche in the market, but it does fit my niche in the market. So I'm pretty happy with this bag. I will be using it a lot. I'm just also aware that it's not a bag for everyone, and it's not a bag that you need, but it is a bag which might make you a little bit happy if you are me. Here's a bit which needs a touch.